Hello, you're watching Cal67 Gaming, and well, we're now into March,
Yes,
which means
it's a month in games.
it certainly is. So that's February in the books now.
Yeah.
Another month down, another month of lockdown. Never mind.
Yeah.
Lockdown does mean that we get the chance to play
Bit more games.
some games that we may not have played had we been out game hunting. And there's still like a lot that's on my to play list, so that's
And mine.
it's all good to have a little bit extra time. Maybe we should just start where
We always do.
we always start. So last month, as always, we picked a game for each other to play, and you picked one for me.
I chose for you Gran Turismo.
Which one?
It's sport, wasn't it? For
Gran
the
Turismo
PS4?
Sport. You asked me to play this,
Yes.
knowing that I had already put in lots of time on Forza.
Well, I thought you quite like racing games and that,
I
don't you?
do.
You completed Forza pretty much, so
Aye.
I thought I'd give you another racing game to play because you do quite like them. So how have you found it?
Well,
Obviously, it's more of a simulator.
it's more
than an
simulation
arcade.
than Forza is, so it's maybe
Took
you
a
don't
bit
get-
more.
you don't get the same kind of. It doesn't seem to be as fast, but you know,
Is it still fun?
It's still quite a good game. I didn't find this track particularly fun. You can see this is the Tokyo Expressway, and it's all big American cars, so they're like, you know, as wide as the average American soccer mom's arse, on very narrow roads. So I didn't like that much, but yeah, good fun. Once I got into it, I kind of really did get into it.
And we've also seen some celebrity names as drivers.
We'll have
Who aren't drivers.
But they just come up randomly. I don't even know if it might just be fluke, you know, that
There was a Van Dyke, a Devon Dudley.
no, there was. But yeah, you can see here that I appear to be doing quite well. Like, I think possibly just because of
You've been playing racing games.
no, because I know how to tune the car to get the most out of it.
Eh?
But just on these narrow streets, it's horrible. trying to get past. I mean, you can see how wide all these American cars are. And of course, being American cars, they don't do corners. Not so much cars in America; it's just death traps. They're just fast things that go in a straight line and don't turn. But I've got to grips with it, as you can see. So as I said, they're coming off playing lots and lots of Forza. This didn't have the same sense of speed that Forza has. More simulation, so you don't get the arcadey gameplay. And actually, surprisingly, took quite a bit of getting used to because of that. But I did give it a real good go. I played a good number of
Quite a bit of time into it.
series and
Yeah.
you know, all the different tracks, played with a lot of different cars, and I mean it's once you get into it, it's pretty good. Obviously, lots of customization options for not just your car but your driver's outfit and things like that. So, I mean that sort of thing's quite good. The one thing I will say though is Polyphony Digital do love a menu. There's a menu to get into a menu to get into a menu to get into a menu to unlock a hidden menu that you can go into to open another menu but once you get into the game itself, it's quite enjoyable. It could do with a bit of sensation of speed, but the game itself's pretty decent. It looks rock solid as well. But I played it through the PS5 rather than play it in VR. I played it through the PS5, rock solid 4K, 60 frames, and that's the
Yeah.
way to play it.
So what did you choose for me then?
For you, I chose a PS5 game.
Yes.
I chose Devil May Cry 5.
Here we are, Dell May Cry 5. I've quite enjoyed playing this. Well, I'd say I'm quite a bit through. I've had quite a few boss battles, and here we are playing Dante. One of
It
the
does
three
look
characters.
very good, I have to say.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it on PS4, so I don't know how much better the PS5 version is, but it does look incredibly pretty. Well, I don't know if pretty is the right word, but it looks really good.
Yes.
How does it play?
It plays really well. It's obviously in combat, it's quite fast paced. Except if you want to be like me when playing Dante and just mainly use these guns when the enemies are down, because they just don't get back up when you do that. But yeah, it's been quite a fun play game.
I've never actually really played any of the Devil May Cry series. It just all seems a little Dynasty Warriors.
Well, it's a good game, by the way, depending on no matter how you look at it, I would say. I think fast-paced action really does help it a lot when you've got quite a few enemies on the screen, and some of the, because there is in the boss battles there can be quite a bit going on, with all the different attacks. But
What's all this dismal apocalyptic crap?
well, that's how good you've been doing style-wise.
Right,
And how
okay.
pretty much it just bases it off how good you've been fighting the enemies. So the best you can get is a triple S rank, which I have achieved before. So
But not here, obviously.
well, I've done that when I was playing as V because he has quite a good style combo.
Alright.
Because he can pretty much freeze them up and then just go and kill them, and that ranks them up straight away.
That's them done then.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've never really played any Devil May Cry games, so I don't know much about the lore of the game or anything like that, but you kind of got into it.
Yeah, I definitely did play quite a decent amount of it, I'd say, from the time when I did start it, which was before the monthly games that were just done, and then I did continue it on through this one. I've just, in this monthly games, been able to play as Dante because I wasn't that far in. I was playing as V, coming to the end of it, and of him, and I'd faced just minimal bosses. I think it was like 2 or 3 maybe, but then as Donnie is like, there's quite a few different upgrades from, being that he's got 4 different ways he can battle. He's got his 2 different swords, his guns, and his shotgun, and then you're knocking the sword just before the mission that I was playing. So there's quite a lot of customization to it as well.
Well, when I watched you play it, the one thing that struck me is it did seem that it was a bit of a button masher.
Well, that's what quite a few Devil May Cries are like, because they are quite fast paced in their battles and that. But at the end of it, you've kind of got the thing where you're one going up against a massive group of enemies at times, so you kind of just want to get them out of the way as quickly as possible, and sometimes button mashing is the way to get through them.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a good game overall.
But you did enjoy it,
Yeah.
though. You haven't finished it, though,
I haven't
have
finished it. I think I'm over halfway through or something.
you? No.
And
Are you going to get all the way through
I'm
it?
definitely going to continue it and play it through.
I should hope so. I think that should be your thing for this year, to try and complete games.
Yeah, I start too many games and
Yeah.
I never finish them.
I mean, I have to say for me too, there's a lot of games that I start that I don't finish.
Yeah.
But I complete a lot more games than you do.
You do,
Yeah.
definitely. Whether that be because I play more multiplayer on games, probably is, to be fair. But yeah. So what else have you been playing then?
Well, I played one game that took me way, way back. A game that I hadn't played for a long, long time. I played The Way of the Exploding Fist.
Bit of a retro game, isn't it?
It's a proper retro game. This playing obviously on the EverDrive, this on the Pico collection. But I remember this game. I played it absolutely to death on the ZX Spectrum. This is what beat 'em ups used to be like. They see that straight cross to the face, a flying kick there. I say, oh well, maybe he's bumped me on Marsh, but I think overall I'm doing quite well here. Just take him out here. Oh, Mr. Roundhouse, would you like a kick in the nuts? There you go.
It looked more like a kick to the midsection.
I'm calling it a kick in the nuts. Anyway, you got to beat them twice, obviously. Some things have never changed.
Typical fighters. With the 2 round system.
Punched me in the nuts. All of a sudden, it's not looking so grand for me.
No.
Oh.
Definitely not.
Roundhouse to the face. Like that could spark the comeback? Oh, another roundhouse to the face.
But you barely missed one.
Is that right? What level again? And there we go, flying kick. Takes it up a notch. Oh, that's the roundhouse there. Hit the flying kick though.
Liu Kang, are you now?
Would appear so. But I've won. I've really been enjoying playing this, because I probably haven't played this game properly in like 30 years. So playing it again just been a lot of fun. And it's weird because you have to get back into that mindset of
you can't just spam.
You can't go on and spam. It's like the first shot that lands scores the point. So you can't go on and take a shot to hit a bigger one.
You have to actually think about it.
It's been fun. Oh, that was a bit sneaky. Oh, roundhouse to the face. Now, like I said, back in the day when I had my ZX Spectrum, I hate to think how many hours I sunk into this game. This was with the possible exception of Target Renegade, which was absolutely awesome, by the way. This was the beat 'em up to play with the Exploding Fist. It was just brilliant. It's a completely different kind of fighting game. Like you're used to your Mortal Kombats and your Street Fighters and your Tekkens. When you can take a shot, you can't take a shot on this. One shot and you're down. So that it's a lot more tactical, because you have to block a lot more, you have to avoid, you have to stay out of range and that sort of thing. But it was really great getting to know this game again and playing it. I'd forgot just how much fun it could be. And when I first booted it up, and I know I said EverDrive on the thing, I played it on the Evercade. And when I first booted it up on the Evercade, I thought, this is something that I'm going to play for maybe 10-15 minutes, get it out my system, and possibly never play again.
But no, it hasn't been like that, has it?
But I've just kept going back to it and back to it and back to it. And
well, doesn't that just show that it's a good game?
Well, it is a good game. It also shows that I can't beat it. I've got to like level 9 a few times, but it just...
Is that one of the games that you're going to complete this year?
I don't know if you can complete with the Exploding Fist, or if it just keeps getting progressively harder and harder and harder. That's kind of how games worked back then. There was no end point to it, because a lot of them were games that came through the arcades. Yeah. So if there was an end point, that was when someone stopped putting their 10 pences in, and that's not what the developers wanted. But I really loved going back to it. I think I'm going to keep playing it going forward as well, because it's proper shot burst, addictive gaming. Exactly. So I played that. What else have you played?
Well, a return to the month in games, but not one that is returned for me, but just in general. I played Mafia.
So this has been on Month with Games again. I played it first time round. This time,
me.
You're playing it.
Yes.
I hated this about waiting for this guy to shut his bloody mouth.
Well, you have to wait for the fireworks though, don't you? So it doesn't sound as bad, I guess. But I think a gunshot's going to alert everyone anyways, isn't it?
Well, it's going to very soon anyway, I should have thought. I thought the exploding head might do it.
Yeah, probably. It does take him a while to shut up, doesn't he?
He does. He likes the sound of his own voice.
But yeah, I've gone quite decently far into the game. This being one of
You
the.
missed.
Actually, him in the shoulder, right?
Doesn't no,
I get
not. You've got to put him down.
I get that. Right, there
On the
you go,
head.
he's done. Right, now I need to escape.
You do.
But I've definitely found this game to be quite enjoyable to play through. So I'm definitely going to complete it.
I completed it in about a week. I couldn't stop playing it. I thought it was a brilliant game.
Well, it is a brilliant game. Here we are picking up the Tommy gun.
Now you've played Mafia Iii. Have you played 2 yet?
I played it, if you remember when you were playing it through, I played it a little bit
Right, so
in the more shooting sections.
Right.
But I did play Mafia 3 all the way through, and I'm close to playing Mafia 1 all the way through.
Oh,
So,
you maybe have to go on Mafia 2 as well, because Mafia 2
Yeah.
is a better game than 3.
well, Mafia 2 is your favourite, isn't it?
Probably. I really did like this one though.
Yeah.
I liked, the 30s Chicago. I thought was a great place. But the New York thing was like all the classic gangster movies. Like the Goodfellas and Godfather and what have you.
Making quite short work of these, aren't they?
There's quite a lot of people just trying to shoot you.
Well, that's because
What happened to that guy? He just disappeared.
Yeah, that's something that really.
Lack of playtesting, that's what that is. But not to worry, there you go, it looks like you've escaped. Always good.
They're still trying to get me.
I loved this game when I played it.
It's an amazing game, just in general, I think. I've played quite a bit through it. I think I'm only like 4 or 5 missions off completing it, or something. And for me, it's just been an absolutely amazing experience to go through, and I'm going to continue it and eventually complete it. Obviously, one of the games that it's not one of the more fast-paced shows at times, though, isn't it? No, it's more a cover. Sometimes it can be stealthy.
And it's funny, like watching you play that little bit back again, and I probably thought a little bit when I was playing it myself, but like more so watching you play it, I say, God, it's Gears of War. Maybe I should play Gears of War, because although it's not like the cover to cover shooting that I really love about the Mafia games, it's like the story and all the rest of it. So I don't know.
But no, I think that's another reason why it's quite a good game for me, is because I do like Gears 1 cover shows and just shows in general. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
No, I'm glad you have.
So what else have you been playing?
Oh, I've played a couple other games. One that I did really need to go back to, that I hadn't played for a long time, and a system that I hadn't played for a long time. I played Xenoblade Chronicles X, or Xenoblade Chronicles Cross, I don't know which way it's supposed to be, on the Wii U. So we'll have a look at that. I started playing this again. Because you got Xenoblade Chronicles
For the Switch.
I thought, oh, do you know, I never actually played all the way through Xenoblade Chronicles.
No, because you tried to rush through it.
I did.
And then you got stuck because you were under-leveled a bit.
So I'm trying not to this time. But obviously you can see I'm trying to be a smart arse and taking on a Grex. And I'm possibly not powered enough to be taking them on. But Elma and Lynn are in my party here, so I should be able to take it out. Just see if I can go in and just give it a little shove in the ribs. Let's just have a little look. There you go. Yeah, good at this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to say though, this time I've been finding it difficult as well, trying not to just rush through the story.
Because you try to do that, don't you, in quite a lot of games?
In RPGs, I'm horrible for it. Like I keep rushing through and getting to a point when I'm just too underpowered. I did the same with Skyrim, if you remember.
Yes.
I was like, what was a level 7 when I should have been 42?
No, you were level like level 6 or something.
6.
It was 6 or 7, and you were meant to be like level 36.
Yeah. And when you rush through them, you do get to a brick wall bit. So hopefully I'll not do it this time. Because actually I really like the setting of this game. I like the big open world. It's still quite weird fun with the combat system because
It's somewhat automatic, isn't it?
yeah, but you know, I mean you can see it.
You get used to it after a while, though.
I've come to terms with it, and obviously using the Wii U gamepad, trying to get used to having that big thing in your hands again. That takes some getting used to because I haven't used it for a while.
I'm playing on the Wii U in ages.
You should. Great
I know.
console. Well, that'd be fair. Everything's on the Switch now, isn't it? This isn't though.
No. Some games as well off the Wii U aren't.
Yeah. But, yeah, really enjoyed my time with this game again.
So just don't rush through it.
Just don't rush through it. That's the thing. So like I said, it's something that I really had to go back to. I don't know why I don't play the Wii U more. I always loved the Wii U as a system. I know it was like a complete commercial failure.
But it is a good system, to be fair.
Brilliant system with some brilliant games on it. And I still think that this game, Xenoblade Chronicles X, which is what I'm going to call it, if you call it Xenoblade Chronicles Cross, that's fair enough. I think it's the outstanding title on the system, just as the original Xenoblade Chronicles was the outstanding game on the Wii. And gameplay-wise, they're very similar, but they couldn't really be much more different when it comes to the story and how that goes. I love the story on Xenoblade Chronicles X because it's. I mean, it's possibly a little bit of a generic sci-fi story, you know, crashing on a planet, but the whole thing about like escaping Earth and all the rest of it. There's a little bit of Battlestar Galactica in there. They're landing on the Unforgiven planet. You've got like a little bit alien, a little bit Prometheus, that kind of thing. So there's a lot that's familiar about it, even though it's a completely unique IP.
But you're not going to rush through it.
I'm going to try not to rush through it because
that's one of your habits.
I'm horrible at doing that.
Because you just want to experience the story, really, don't you?
Well, yeah.
And you try to rush through it just so you can get at the story.
The problem is that I can usually in these RPGs I can usually get through quite a bit of it that I shouldn't be able to get through when I'm really underpowered. But then you just hit a brick wall, and the thought of going back and just grinding for hours really doesn't appeal to me. So I'm trying to do little bits of grinding
here and there
as I go through.
Yeah.
I get itchy, and it's like I just want to get to the next plot point and whatever it may be.
You can't. You really do have to.
You do. Aye.
Be able to level up and then progress.
And
otherwise you will hit a brick wall.
But yeah, just love playing this game again, and it's been weird trying to get used to that huge tablet controller again. But that's what it is. So I've put a lot of time into that. What about you? What else have you put time into?
Well, I've played a rhythm game.
Well, there's a surprise. You've got quite good at playing rhythm games.
But it's not the one that you probably think. Because it's actually, when you first think about it, it would kind of be like a weirdish one. I played Taiga no Tatsujin.
You've quite got into this.
Yes. This is Taiga no Tatsujin.
It certainly is. And the premise of it is really simple. On the red ones, you hit the drum in the middle, and the blue ones, you hit on the rim.
Yes. No.
But in practice, it's not quite that simple.
No, it's definitely not there. And if you can tell by my character on the top left, it's Kirby.
Yeah, it's Kirby. I thought this is a Namco game.
Well, this is for the Nintendo
Although
Switch.
I suppose the drum character is on
Tekken.
Well, I was going to say it's a Mario Kart.
On a lot of things.
On the arcade Mario Kart, it's one of the characters on
Yeah.
there.
You can also play as the Splatoon Squids, if I remember correctly.
But yeah, this is the arcade sensation from Akihabara, isn't it?
Yeah. And I'm not
It's
doing
very
too
strange.
bad.
Very strange and very Japanese. But good.
Yes.
And a lot of the music's quite catchy as well, because like
You've got the YouTube song.
there's themes from games and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
this is Tekken, isn't it? This one. That
I believe so. Yeah, something that I found quite weird was the YouTube song.
Yeah, I didn't realise there was a YouTube theme song, but there you go. Apparently in Japan. These dancing dogs are quite unsettling at the bottom. In this rapid drum roll, you seem to be getting the hang of that too.
Yes. Quite a lot of them though in this song. Very somewhat weird one, isn't it?
Well, it's a very Japanese game.
Yeah.
Um,
But a very fun one at that. Definitely. For the fact that you can play different game songs, like you can play Jump Up Superstar from Mario Odyssey, which was quite a fun one for me when I was just starting and figuring out everything. And they've got the weirder songs, as I said, the YouTube song, for some reason.
I mean, there is some shite on there as well. There's a lot of stuff from anime that I suppose if you're in anime you're going to
You've
get.
got like your Dragon Ball Z songs, you've got your One Piece, and probably more once you unlock them all and everything. But playing it with the drum control, I think, is also a big thing of it being
I
fun.
wouldn't want to play it with
The separate Joy-Cons.
with the Joy-Cons.
Because you have to pretend.
Because I remember Samba de Amigo on the Wii and
with the maracas and stuff.
and the detection of exactly what you're doing was never particularly great. I can't imagine the Joy-Cons will be much better.
No, because you have to like strike it vertically down, or you have to like swing it like in a like rotation to get the blue notes.
Well,
So
much better with the drum controller.
Yeah, definitely much better. The hit detection will definitely be much better then.
I'd have thought so.
So, but yeah, very fun game.
So you're all ready for a trip to Tokyo? If and when the pandemic ever
yes.
finishes.
I'll definitely still need to practice though.
Well, maybe you will.
What else have you been playing?
Well, you know that I quite often throw a sports title in that I play for a month, and I play to death, get a season out of the way, and I very rarely play more than a season. I know that you get these huge expansive modes where they're supposed to go on for like 10, 20 years of game time. I never really bother doing that.
And then you just never play the online modes or anything?
Well, no, I don't. But this month was the turn of Pro Evolution Soccer 21. So you know that I like football games, particularly Pro Evolution Soccer. Look at that ball from Kenny on one side all the way over to Laxall on the other. That's how you play the game, you know. Keep the ball away from the opposition.
Wasn't that just the aim of the game?
No, the aim of the game's putting the ball in the back of the net. You see,
And how do you do that? You keep it away from the opposition.
You also be the best team in the world, Celtic, obviously. So that's the last game of the season. League already wrapped up, and Kenny running down the line. Rose like a salmon. There's my generic.
Klimala. You had to change the hair because you had lockdown haircut.
He did have lockdown hair, aye. But he's one of the few players that's not properly
scanned in.
When you look at Edward and Griffiths and Christie and
Scott
Brown, Kalmack, even going to the back, Barkas and
quite a lot of them.
Christopher Aya, they're all properly scanned in, but not Klimala. I've always preferred this game to FIFA. I mean, going all the way back to like PlayStation 1 when we had International Superstar Soccer Pro. What was it? International Superstar Soccer Pro Evolution was the first iteration of it.
Well, I guess it all comes down to personal preference. So at the end of the day,
I just think it plays a better game of football, and I like the fact that graphically, the players are a little bit bigger on the pitch, and that sort of thing. It's not that I don't play FIFA, but I just
like Pro Evolution
always
Soccer
preferred
more.
Pro Evo. Even more because obviously you've got
The partnerships and everything.
with the partnerships, you've got like
scanned in stadiums,
the
players.
the players in the stadium. So you've got like obviously playing as Celtic, you've got like most of the Celtic squad have been scanned in properly. You could get to play at Celtic Park, and
But there's also the other teams that are partnered with them, like Barcelona's probably one of the bigger ones.
yeah, you got your Barcelona's, Man United, Bayern Munich,
Juventus.
Basically, when you load up FIFA and you see all the fake teams, they're all in Pro Evolution Soccer.
There's actually not a lot of fake teams. I think it's just
the Italian league, basically, in FIFA. That's the one that's missing. But that's what you get in Pro Evolution Soccer. Not that I ever play Serie A, because obviously I always play the Scottish Premier League. So I've played my season a bit. I got a clean sweep, got all the trophies. So in the Champions League, the league, and the FA Cup. That's me done now. That itch has now been scratched.
You're just waiting for the next sports game.
Well, that's it. I mean, I don't get into these sports games and play them endlessly. Over a period of like a couple of weeks, I'll blast through the season. That's it. Itch is scratched. Done. I'll move on to the next game.
For me, I'll maybe play the seasons and stuff. But I tend to play Ultimate Team if I'm being honest.
Well, you don't play Ultimate Team on Pro Evolution Soccer.
You play my club. But no, because that for me, it's just the idea of building your own team up and then building it without money.
You can do that in Master League because you can do like signing players and that sort of thing. But like I say, one season, one and done. Scratch that itch. Got out my system. Bish bash bosh. Happy days. That's me done.
Yeah.
What else did you play?
Well, my final game for this month was actually, I guess you could call it a return, but not really, because it's a remaster of a game. I played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Now here we are with the remaster of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yeah, I possibly should play this because
Yeah.
this obviously I recognise as Venice Beach.
Yes.
In my head, this is how it looked on the PlayStation 1, but obviously it didn't.
But now it does look like this.
You're doing alright with a couple of transfers there.
See if I can hit the huge transfer, shall we?
This was always a nightmare, this one. There you go.
Now I don't have so many points, do I? Only at 50,000.
Yeah, well, I knew the ball was there. That was always a great place for racking up points. You're doing alright, yeah, you haven't fallen off yet.
There's 70,000.
Yeah, it's not a bad little combo. It'd be interesting if anyone who watches this can tell me why the kickflip McTwist's now called a Misty Flip. Because it was always a kickflip McTwist on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Now, always when I go up there and I try to land, it's always in the sand.
Well, don't go up there.
And, that's where the E is.
Simples.
That's where the E is if you need to.
No, sometimes you can just let it go for the sake of getting a collectible. You didn't make a transfer that time.
No, and I try to straighten myself out there.
I haven't seen Ollie. Where's Ollie?
Well, the only reason...
He's in there, isn't he?
Yeah, he starts off here.
Oh, there he is. He was my favourite Ollie the Magic Bomb. Is he not unlockable?
No, unfortunately not. Little combo. 120,000.
Well, you said Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Actually, even though we saw like
I played both.
the Venice Beach level of 2 there, It's 1 and 2 that's on
Yeah,
this
it's 1 and 2 that's on it, both remastered. I have played through both of the remastered versions, but I find 2 a bit more enjoyable, if I'm being honest.
But well, 2 I think is demonstrably a better game, always has been. And
There
this
were some
isn't,
good levels in 1.
this
I will
isn't the
say.
first time that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 has made an appearance on monthly games either, because I think
We'll play the Dreamcast
I got
version.
you into the Dreamcast version
Yes,
of it.
that's why I said technically a return, but technically not, because it is obviously the remaster. Does look really good though, doesn't it? When you think about it.
Well, yeah, it looks pretty good. It plays reasonably similar, but there's things that you can do on this that makes it easier. A lot of the really difficult collectibles to 100% levels have just been taken away. So like like all the money that's strewn about the level and stuff.
They've
like
now
that.
changed our stat points and stuff. Yeah.
Well, no, because the start points were always there anyway, but you had like a lot of extra collectibles. Some were really difficult to get to, and they've just taken them out. So it's like, it looks good, it plays reasonably well, but the gameplay's been changed to make it easier, and they've taken away some of the harder elements. It's kind of, to me, it's a dumbed down version, so it looks better, but does it really play better?
I guess it depends on how you look at it. At the end of the day, it's a good game, it's a fun game, and it has replayability because obviously you got all the different characters and stuff. You've then got your leveling up so that you can then get different stuff for your skater park. You create a park, which you can make yourself, obviously, and then you've got your custom skater, which you can.
The one thing that did surprise me, pleasantly surprise me, is how much of that original soundtrack they managed to get licensed again.
Obviously, there is some new songs.
And the new songs completely break the game. Because they're not the same style, it's not the same attitude, it ruins the game. But you can switch them off.
You can definitely switch them off.
Which you're going to want to
You
do.
go into your settings and then you can make your own playlist.
Yeah, you're going to want to
just the
switch off
songs.
the new songs, because you want to play it with the classic playlist. You want Rage Against the Machine, you want Anthrax, you want Goldfinger. You don't want
Machine Gun Kelly.
Exactly. You just don't.
Not in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater at least, but still a very fun game and definitely one that I would recommend. I find that it'd be really fun.
Well, there's certainly an audience for it. I mean,
Yeah.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 in particular is so fondly remembered.
And it does have the locations there and stuff.
It
and
does.
It's still got some of the secrets that you have.
Yeah.
It's got the main objective secrets.
Yes.
So definitely a fun game in the long run.
So I think I've got one more game that I really put some time into this month, and it was a new release. Microsoft came out. Well, I don't know if it's Microsoft first party, but it came out on the Series X, and that was The Medium. This is quite a weird game. This I really got into it though, I have to say. But you see how you've got the split screen there.
But you control them both at the same
I
time.
control them both at the same time. So there's some things that happen in the spirit world, and just in the spirit world that you can. That's a bit grim, isn't it? Cutting through the skin with a razor blade. But there you go. But there's like some of the puzzles you have to do things in the spirit world to affect things in the real world and vice versa.
Yeah.
But because you're controlling both, there might be like a barrier that's on one.
But not on the other.
And it's just, it really makes you think. Some of the puzzles, they've just been brilliant.
Now this is on Game Pass.
It is.
Um,
And I don't think it's for everyone, because most of the time it's quite a slow-paced game. And you can see here I'm trying to piece together a clue in the spirit world, and it just not quite going for me there. But you can kind of see there's three figures there.
yeah, one in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
the other two talking to each other.
There you go. Just sometimes it just takes a little while to trigger. And I think that's possibly a lack of playtesting on this game, but it's just.
Is it a good game?
It's a good game. Yeah.
There you go. That's one of the main things.
I've really enjoyed playing through it.
Have you completed it?
I haven't completed it yet.
So do you think you'll go back to it?
Possibly. The problem is I've got so much to play.
Yes.
But it's just the right amount of creepy, this game. There's some good scares in it as well, which I think any horror game needs a few good scares in it. So you can see there's like on the spirit world there was lots of moths that were blocking the way.
Yeah.
So you have to go the other way to get through there. Picking up clues and what have you. And you also saw that the clue was only in the real world and not in the spirit world. So you have to be constantly flicking between the two.
This place is packed with memories. Bad ones.
And again, you can see there's some things that I can see in the real world here that I can't see in the spirit world.
Yeah.
Rage.
And the globe's a different thing depending on what one you're looking at.
There's a sense of loneliness coming from it. It feels incomplete.
So as I said, I quite got into this. It's quite a slow-paced. I'm not quite sure what.
Well,
whether
you think
a
it's
survival-
slow paced probably because you rush.
I'm not even sure what kind of game it is. Is it survival horror or is it a puzzle game? Or I just don't know. But I really have enjoyed my time with it. This game mechanic of existing in two worlds at the same time, but you can do some things in one world that you can't do in another, and they both affect each other. It's really interesting. It's something I've never seen before, and
Yeah.
I've really got into that. And while your protagonist doesn't seem to have much personality at all, I love the character of Sadness that you meet reasonably early on, and she pushes the narrative along.
So you just want to get the points by pushing the narrative along.
Well,
But also you want to take your time.
It's a heavily narrative driven game, although you've got these points where there's the puzzles to solve. There's also parts of the game where the gameplay really does speed up. There's
I think I remember the one time where it was like just such a way to get one item, which was like what was it, like bowl cards or something, but it took so long to get there because you had to go through the different worlds and everything.
yeah, but when the gameplay really speeds up, it really speeds up. I mean, there's one section that I remember playing, and I had to play through it a couple of times because when you're in the spirit world, there's a monster starts chasing you,
But in the
And
real world.
and you're running towards the screen, Crash Bandicoot style, and one wrong move and you're gone. So it's
You have to kind of do
so
a perfect run.
it becomes a really quick paced game and a little bit, Twitch gaming. You've got to memorise the
patterns.
route. You've got to, you've got to know, like, be able to react quickly to get through this. So there is a little bit of quick gameplay on it, but for the most part, it's really quite slow paced, and I've really got into the narrative of it. Like I say, especially the character of Sadness, so I think it's absolutely brilliant. So I played that.
Is the game you're going to continue?
I would imagine so. It's definitely worth continuing playing.
But with that being the last game that we played for February, I think it's about that time where we pick a game for each other. So what have you chosen for Malin?
Well, I don't have anything to show because it's a game that we just had digitally. And unusually for this, it's not a game that I'm going to ask you to play and try for the first time. But it is a game that you have played before. However, you didn't really give it a good chance. However, now we're a couple of years further down the line, and I think you will play it this time. And the reason I think you'll play it is because it's on the PS Vita. It's Persona 4 Golden, and
I've played the Persona 5.
You got into Persona 5 and really enjoyed it. So Persona 4 Golden, best game on the Vita, hands down.
I would definitely. Well, I played it for a few hours and I did enjoy it, but then I think I just moved on from it way too quickly.
Well, now that you've got the patience to play a Persona game, I think that's a good one for you to go through and play
definitely.
through.
Now, I'm going to let you continue a game, right, that you've been playing. So I'm going to let you continue the Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Well, I was going to do that anyway.
But I just thought, you know what it is, I might as well just let you continue a game and not push you to play something else.
Actually, that's a good thing because it means I can put more time in
Yeah.
it if I'm not distracted so much. Although I'll distract myself. You know?
You'll probably distract
You know
yourself,
how
but it
these
means
things
that I'm
work.
not distracting you directly.
Yeah, you
and
know how these things work.
yeah.
Right, well, I guess that's it for this month. So until the next video, I guess.
Give us a like, a share, and a subscribe, and turn the notification bell so you get notified when we upload, and we will see you in the next video.